Hello and welcome to episode 87 of Things I Learned from Barry Harris. I just wanted to make a quick video to discuss something I've been talking about with my students a lot. It's actually really interesting, and it's about this idea of starting phrases that you would normally start on the beat, off the beat, and still making them come out right. And that's the whole point of putting in any half steps or anything that Barry talks about with his chromatic scales or anything. It all has to do with coming out right, meaning coming out with a scale tone, not a chord tone, but a scale tone on the beat as opposed to on the end. So let's take a look. I thought, we haven't really talked about A flat major, so let's talk about A flat major like we were playing Indiana, let's say, or Donna. So there's our A flat major scale, and the things we usually practice on it are chords up and down, scales up and down, thirds, triads, chords, and so on. So you have to know all that stuff first when you get it in your fingers. Now what's funny about those exercises is they all start on the beat. So that's the way I've always practiced them. They all start on the beat. But Barry mentioned something really interesting one time in class about how when Bird and Bud Powell and all the greats, Sonny Rollins, and if you transcribe them, they seem to start on any beat, any part of the beat. It doesn't matter. So what I realized for myself was, man, all the lines that I create that I haven't just taken from somebody else and kind of redone and put them into my repertoire, the ones that I've come up with all seem to start on the beat, which is fine, but it's leaving out half of the measure. So I started trying to think about, like, even when we practice triads up, those are all on the beat. So let's say if we were playing this, started with Donnelly and we said 1, 2, 3, 4. That's a nice phrase, but that's starting with the triad on the beat. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's a nice one. But what if we started that same phrase on the and? 1, 2, 3, 4, ah. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, ah. Do you see how it sounds totally different than 1, 2, 3, 4? Well, that's a chord, but let's do that again, the triad. 1, 2, 3, 4. Those are really nice phrases, but why do I always have to start on the beat? Why don't I start on the end? 1, 2, 3, 4, ah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. It's got such a nice bounce to it. How about if I did a chord up? That's a nice phrase, and then come down a scale note. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's a nice phrase, but what if I started that phrase on the and? 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. I'll put in one half step. 1, 2, 3. That's a nice one. 1, 2, 3. Oh, well, that's too early. A little sloppy in the middle, but 1, 2, 3. Wait. 1, 2, 3. Maybe I'll put another half step. Yeah, I like that one. See, so what happens is it makes you take the things that you've practiced for a really long time and start differently. Sometimes when I practice, I don't just do chords. I do a chord. There's your 4-note chord. What I do is I like to skip the third note. So that's a 3-note phrase. So 1, 2, 3, 4. That's a nice one to put one of Barry's chromatic rules. So if you went up the whole scale like this, it would be this. The next one, instead of this, chord up, you're going to skip the third note. So you're going to say, next one from the third, next one from the fourth, from the fifth, oh man, that's the one from this one, and so on. Where's the last one? And then you're back to this one. So that's all of them where you're skipping one of the notes of the chord, the third note of the chord, and then you're putting in one of Barry's chromatic rules. And by chromatic rules, I mean like if you have a chromatic, you use it. If it's a scale tone, you jump up to the next higher scale tone. So, but these are also on the beat. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's a pretty phrase, but what if, let me see if I can work that out to something. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. That was on the second beat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. That's a nice one, but what if I did it on the and of the one? 1, 2, 3, 4, Now no half step. 1, 2, 3. That's a nice one. 2, 3, 2, 3. Oh man, I like that. But my point in showing this is we have this tendency to say somehow when we solo, we're going to there's going to be some sort of divine intervention and we're going to feel it. Or, you know, like that's our favorite thing to say. Well, we'll feel it when it comes time to solo. And it's really, feeling it is very important. But unless you practice, at least for myself, unless I practice these phrases starting on the upbeat, I'm never going to feel this. Never. There's going to be no divine intervention or all of a sudden I'm going to be playing on a gig and all of a sudden start playing these. I have to practice them and feel them. It's the same way you have to practice your half steps. It's the same way you have to practice your chords. Everything you practice, eventually you can move into the category of you're not thinking about it and it's just coming out naturally. So this is also one of those things, but this is purely rhythmic. And I'm telling you, it was such a, and actually the way Barry put it was when he was talking about his half-step rules for descending dominant scale, and he said, just happened to say it, and I remember I was feeling really confident about, I really knew my half-step rules. You know, he wasn't going to get me on these. If he started to say something about half-steps, I was going to be completely on top of it, at least in a couple of positions. And then when he said, well, actually, and if you start on the end, all the rules reverse. And I remember thinking to myself, oh my God, that's a whole other thing that I'm going to have to practice because I don't even know what that feels like. So it was something that I had to really try to focus on. And still, I'm still practicing it. But it's not only with this, it's with everything that we do, everything that we practice. So, you know, sometimes we also practice like triads, but then we do the thing where we practice a half step below. So that's nice, but that's on the beat. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's a nice phrase, but what if we put that on the beat, on the and? 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. See, that's a totally different feel. Oh, let's do it from the 3. That's a pretty one. That's a pretty one from the 3. 1, 2. Oh, wait. I mean, these are so nice to do. But now, see, that one's nice on the beat. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's a nice one. That's a pretty phrase, but I like it on the, I want to, see, the thing is, it's pretty on the beat or off the beat. It's pretty on both spots. So why would I want to exclude all this other pretty stuff that I could be playing just because I can't feel what that feels like. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's a pretty one. Let's see. 1, 2. See, I might have never played that phrase like that. See, I might have never played, as a matter of fact, not might have, I never would have played that. So it's just something to keep in mind about your own playing. And, you know, a lot of times we get caught up in the notes and we get caught up in what we're playing, which is what we're supposed to do. But the rhythm is what differentiated, I think, Bird and Bud Powell and all the other musicians. Because all the other musicians, I mean, I think Dizzy said at one time where Dizzy was saying, if I'm not mistaken, Dizzy said something like, we all had those notes together, we had the substitutions, we knew about that stuff. But Bird really put it together in a way that we hadn't done. And I think what he was referring to is Bird's rhythm seems to be so superior. Like he really has such a beautiful sense of rhythm. He can really feel every part of the beat, and that includes the and. So anyway, it's just one of these things that I noticed I was lacking in my own playing, and I thought it might be helpful for some of you too. See if you could figure out how to play the same runs that you've been doing, but starting on the beat. Instead of on the beat, starting on the and. Anyway, until next time, have fun practicing feeling the and. Thanks.